Hey, ladies, welcome back to another episode of Becoming a Light. I am glad that you're here. I have something that I want to talk to you guys about today, and it's something that's been coming up quite a bit in my coaching program, as well as kind of just in general in conversations that been having with women. And it's the story that I think so many of us carry as we head into our midlife. And it's a heavy one. It feels like a big burden, right? It sounds a lot like conversations that are based around the fact that, our body has changed, so we must have done something wrong, right? And I hear it all the time. I hear, I haven't been disciplined enough. I'm not consistent. I don't feel motivated. I can't do it all the time. And I want to say something really clearly before we kind of dig into this topic is that your midlife weight is not because you failed at something, okay? Oftentimes, this weight is a communication from your body asking for your attention, okay? So when we understand this, when we can say, hey, you know what? I wasn't quite getting the memo. I wasn't quite understanding what the communication was. Um, I thought it was criticism. I thought it was my body saying we're doing it all wrong. And when we do that, we turn on ourselves, right? We start to beat ourselves up instead of learning how to listen to what that communication is trying to say. And I've shared so many times before about my story where I'm standing in front of the mirror and, I just had the worst morning ever. I got everyone off to school. I was exhausted. I was feeling just like absolute crap. I had a cold shower because everyone else had already had used up all the water. And I go to get out of the shower, towel myself off, and all that's left is that little tiny face cloth. Right? Because, everyone else had showered and taken the towels out and nobody had put anything back for me. So I, spent the morning taking care of everybody else, stressed out, overwhelmed. And then here I am, butt naked in the shower or in the bathroom, standing in front of the mirror, which unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, in that case, the mirror was like from my waist all the way up. And I'm standing there in front of the mirror and I'm thinking, my God, this is like the hardest my life has ever been. And I remember thinking how overwhelmed I was looking at myself in the mirror. But the truth was, I hadn't stopped caring about myself. I hadn't given up, but my body didn't look or feel the way it had previously. Like I didn't know who I was. So that shock wasn't me. It was like, what is that? Right? That when you're looking in the mirror. And I think what shocked me the most wasn't actually the weight. Yes, at first, seeing myself really for the first time that way, I was kind of like, oh my goodness. But I think what shocked me was how fast my brain and my nervous system went to, why can't you get it together? Why can't you do better for yourself? Like, you know what to do. Why have you not figured this out? Like, why can't you figure this out? What is wrong with you? Right? The internal pressure in that moment was heavier than anything my body was carrying physically. And the truth is, I didn't need more discipline. I was disciplined. I was doing my 5 to 6 workouts a day. I was eating really well. I was pushing myself discipline wise over the top. But what I needed in that moment was understanding. I needed to understand why my body was this way, why I was feeling this way, what was actually happening. So I want to say if the weight was a character flaw, if it was something that was wrong with us, then punishing ourselves more would actually work, right? If it was a character flaw, then restricting more would solve the weight. Shaming ourselves would motivate us. Pushing harder would fix everything. But guess what? It doesn't. It doesn't fix it. It really, really doesn't. Because midlife weight gain and what you're going through in this phase isn't about your willpower. It's about those hormonal shifts. It's about the stress accumulating on top of your mental load over and over and over again. It's about the nervous system feeling completely fatigued. It's years of putting yourself at the bottom of the barrel and the body having to adapt time and time again as a protection mechanism for you, right? It's not weakness. It's actually an extremely intelligent system that the body has in place. We talked about this quite a bit in my group coaching the last week, was how the nervous system is putting the weight on, and it's actually a really smart thing that it's doing based on what the nervous system knows how to do, right? So if you look at it by midlife, your body has been quote unquote on for decades, right? Many of us are raising kids, or maybe you're raising kids while building a career. You're navigating relationships, the ups and downs of those. You're managing emotional labor. Maybe you're having to care for, parents, loved ones. You're the one usually holding everything together. So you're constantly under stress. You're constantly going. You're constantly feeling one thing on top of the other, right? When we're in this phase, the cortisol just doesn't disappear, right? Because we're just constantly adding stress. We're adding layers. And then our hormones respond, and they don't stay static. They don't stay, oh, this is the amount that they're supposed to be. We have all these shifts happening as we hit midlife. Our sleep definitely is something that gets shifted around. We also are seeing blood sugar sensitivities. Insulin resistance is a big thing that starts to happen in this phase. So your body is adapting to all these things that are happening around you, inside you. And sometimes those adaptations are looking like, our weight is added. We're adding weight, especially in the belly area. We're slowing down our metabolism. There's inflammation. I don't know how many, so many women I've talked to you about this, the inflammation, the joint pain, the tendon pain, the aches, the body pain, right? So much of that. Then there's more fatigue, so tired, or like those moments where your body, you just literally are like, I cannot function. I need to go lie down, right? I'm sure we've all had those. And it's not your body like betraying you or shutting down and being like, we are like, screw you, we're not doing this anymore. It's actually your body signaling and communicating to you, we need to create a safer environment for me. I'm in overdrive. I am constantly having to battle these stresses, right? And the thing is if you are on this journey and you are in midlife and you're trying really hard to release weight or release the pressure, release the anxiety, release the inflammation, nothing is going to release until your body has created that safety, until your nervous system feels good again, until you're able to navigate stressful moments better, right? So none of these things are going to start to decrease if you're still feeling unsafe. Your stress levels are going to stay high because your body feels unsafe. Your mental state is feeling unsafe. Your weight is not going to let go because the reason why you have the weight is because your body is trying to protect you. It's trying to make sure that that constant stress and overload is not going to, in the body, in the mind, in your nervous system's response that that has been for decades and decades and decades and millennia. It goes all the way back to when the body is under stress. The threat is we got to we got to protect our organs, right? Our organs are what keep us alive. So how do we do that? We put the weight there. So it's harder to get at the organs, right? So that's why that's happening. And we're not going to release that weight if the body doesn't feel like it's safe to do so. And the emotional tension, the mood swings, all that kind of stuff, that's never going to change if we stay in that space where the body does not feel safe, where the nervous system is constantly under pressure. Even if it's just subtle pressures, these pressures are causing your body to stay in heightened cortisol, and your body is just going to hold on to everything, right? Now, does this mean that we are going to live in a bubble and then we're never going to have stressful situations in our life ever again? Lord, I wish that was true, but that's not the truth. It's not even the truth a little bit. What this means is that we learn tools that help us in those moments to shift out of that heightened state of awareness, to shift out of those stress, right? And when we're in this cycle, when we're stuck in this cycle of stress, holding, responding in fear, right? When we're holding into that with more force, if we go into it like, oh, just gonna get tougher, I'm gonna get stronger, I'm gonna get more disciplined, we're actually tightening down that cycle. Many of the women that I work with in my group coaching, we can't start a new workout program or a new food program until we have done the mental stuff, until we have changed that aspect of the overload. Because if we're just throwing more things on your plate, more things for you to do, more things for you to feel pressured into, you're just tightening down that stress, right? If you are already super overwhelmed and I say to you, hey, guess what? You need to now work out 6 days a week and you need to eat better. Like you need to completely overhaul your diet. Holy, that's stressful. That is another stress. Your body's going to be like, nope. And that's why I see so many women that are coming to me and saying, I have done it all and nothing is working. I was in that situation. I did it all and nothing was working because that cycle has just tightened down because you have stressed the body out even more, right? And so we need to shift our thinking. We need to stop asking ourselves, how do I fix this? How do I fix this? Why I need to fix my weight. And we need to start thinking and asking ourselves, what does my body need right now to feel supported? How can I show up in a loving relationship with my body at this time? And that is step number one, is making that shift. So when I stopped treating my body like it was a problem I had to solve, and I started treating it like something um, that I loved and I appreciated, something that had carried me through my life, through these last couple decades, and finding love and appreciation for it, something softened inside me. Actually, everything softened. And I'm not going to say it's happening overnight. Trust me. If you've read my book, I went back and forth on this, like teeter-totter of I've got it. No, I don't. I've got it, right? Because the deep conditioning is there. So it doesn't happen overnight. It didn't happen dramatically for me. It was about being sustainable. It was about creating those little micro promises every single day, day in and day out, and having a sustainable change that led to that safety. It was about consistency, not punishment, not not from the mind frame of, oh, I have to work out because I'm fat, I've gained weight, but I'm working out today because I love my body. And I told her I would show up every day, right? And we support ourselves instead of restricting ourselves. This is a major thing. If you're sitting down at the table and you're looking at your plate and it's got like nothing on it, and you're restricting your food and you're telling yourself you only deserve this much because you're overweight, that's not safe. It's not safe for your nervous system, right? If you're already in that heightened state of cortisol or heightened state of stress, and then you're telling your body you don't deserve to eat enough, that's just adding more, adding more. And we nourish from a place of love, not from control. One of the things I absolutely love is in my program, I provide you with everything. You have your meal plans, your grocery list, you have your recipes, you have your prep guide, like you have everything you need in my Becoming Light program. And yet, so many of the women are taking those recipes and they are making them for themselves. We are, of course, we're making sure we're meeting our protein goals and our fiber goals because you guys know how I like hammer that home. That is important. But they're making the food something that they want to nourish themselves with, that they are excited to eat, and it's from a place of love. And that is when change is going to happen. That's when it starts to feel possible again, right? And I love this. I love this approach because if you've been blaming yourself, if you felt like you're embarrassed by everything that you've gone through, you're frustrated with yourself, if you've been the person that's quietly believed, I am the problem, I need to fix myself, I need to fix this, I want you to pause for a second and I want you to really hear me because nothing is wrong with you, okay? Yes, your body may have hormonal imbalances right now. Things may be a little bit out of whack, but you didn't do everything wrong. Your body is responding to the environment that it has been in. Okay. And that means it can also learn how to respond in a safe environment. Okay. So this is exactly why I created Becoming Light, Release 15 Pounds in 90-Day program. It's not a try harder plan. It is not another restrictive protocol where, you can only eat boiled chicken and broccoli every single day. But this program is a supported nervous system aware approach specifically for us midlife women, 35 to 55, around that time frame, right? Because weight release in this season doesn't come from force. It just won't. I mean, you just can't. You can't force it. It comes as the byproduct of your regulating stress, your consistent nourishment, your gentle strength, your rebuilding trust in your body again. And I'm really excited to share that we now have doors open on cohort 2. I am beyond excited to share this because we are starting together in March of 2026, obviously. And it is cohort 1, the women in that group are doing so amazing. And so many of you have reached out and asked, can we do cohort 2? So if you've been feeling stuck, and not because, you have a lack of discipline, but because you haven't had the support, this might be your next step. And it's not a step from, shame, but a step of safety. Okay. Remember, midlife is not a decline. I like to say it's our recalibration. A recalibration requires compassion, not criticism. So today, instead of asking yourself, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why am I not disciplined enough? I want you to ask, what is my body trying to tell me? What question can I ask myself to change everything? And honestly, learning that communication question, what is my body trying to tell me, is a huge one. So we step forward with being gentle with ourselves, knowing that we are not failing, we're just adapting to this new phase, and knowing that love and honor for our body, for everything that she's done for us to get us to this point, is where we need to focus. So if this has resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. Please drop a message in the comments below or feel free to reach out on my Instagram. Everything's in the show notes. If you are sitting here thinking, I need to be a part of this program sounds exactly like what I need. I'm done with the restrictions. I'm done fighting every little thing. Then reach out because our cohort 2 is now open and we would love to have you. I'm only opening it to 10 spots, so make sure that you get in right away. Thank you everyone, and until next week, we'll see you later.